Hello viewers, you're welcome to another episode of The N.O.W Show, your show for overcomers and winners. And today's episode gives me so much excitement. Wow, you'll find out in a minute why it gives me so much excitement. But our title today is Beyond the Shatters. And I said to everyone, I said we have a big fish. And because we do have a big fish, this is going to be a two-part episode. So we're starting today talking to no other person than Mr. Kayode Soyinka. Uncle, you're welcome to the N.O.W Show.
Thank you.
Wow, finally.
Finally.
Yes. I'm trying to keep the excitement down. I'm trying to keep it down.
You should. Thank you.
Thank you for doing this with us. Thank you for doing this with us.
Thank you.
Mr. Kayode Soyinka is started as a reporter with the Daily Sketch at the young age of 18, and today he has over 45 years experience in journalism and still interviews, writes, and is publisher of Africa Today magazine. On October 19th, 1986, a bomb blast rocked Dele Giwa's home in Ikeja, killing him. Mr. Soyinka was that person at breakfast with him on that fateful morning and narrowly escaped death. So he is the super overcomer and winner. His rich wealth of experience is documented in his memoir, a colorful 396-page book, Born into Journalism, Memoir of a Newspaper Reporter. He also authored Diplomatic Baggage, Mossad and Nigeria, the Diko Story. He's very happily married to the beautiful Mrs. Titilope Soyinka, and they're blessed with 4 wonderful children, Chimininu and Obataye, Beminiyi and Rosie, and an adorable granddaughter, Oluwa Shemilore. So once again, Uncle, you are welcome to the N.O.W Show.
What a great introduction. And thank you very much for giving me a royal welcome. But I can see that you have the Egba wearing.
Yes, this is certainly for you.
I feel very much at home. Thank you for saying.
You deserve it, and much more, definitely, Uncle, because you are an enigma. I say that you are an enigma. I mean, 45 years in journalism.
Yes.
That kind of experience you don't get easily. So you are, I keep saying that you're a rich wealth of knowledge, for people in journalism, not only journalism, in tenacity, in, just keeping at what you're doing, in excellence, because I know you to be a person of excellence and discipline, firm, everything, all those values that have gone in today's society. Uncle, you are an epitome of everything that is called good.
Thank you.
And I am happy knowing you. I feel very honored, to be your aburo. Any day, any time, Thank you, Uncle.
I really appreciate it.
Wow.
Well, I've been 45 years. It's not a joke.
It is not at all. At all.
I didn't realize that I would be in the journalism profession for 45 minutes.
Talk less of.
45 years.
Yes, sir.
I was 18, yes. When I was employed by the Sketch. And I was the youngest, on the day of the interview amongst those who were interviewed.
Yes.
The rest were senior journalists, editors, from Lagos, Daily Times, and other publications around the country. So I had no chance of getting.
It looked like.
But, I was there with them. Somebody hinted me that when I got to the interviewing panel,
yes,
and if they should ask me my interests, where I would like to serve. I should just say the sports desk.
Okay.
Because, you know, he thought that that was going to be the easiest way
to get in.
to get in. I did that. I told them, very impressive interviewing panel. Nigeria was still good in those days in doing things correctly.
Everything was done on merit. Strictly merit, not who you know.
And I pray that we get back to that.
Amen.
Nigeria
Amen.
You know. So I greeted them. I came from you know, a very famous secondary school. Where we've been. It's like going to finishing school.
Yeah. So you were already prepared
for that kind of situation. You know, you can be intimidated.
Yes.
When you see senior people at management level.
Because at 18, you are rather young and tender to face a panel of adults who are not even your family members. You know, it's easier.
I greeted them and they offered me, you know, a seat, and the interview started. I told them that I just came out of school. You know, and this will, if I was given the opportunity, be my first shot at a job. I had three options of what I would like to do in life. To study law and be a lawyer. And I think I would have been a very good lawyer.
Because I was going to say, Uncle, any regrets about that today?
I would have been. To study political science. You know, whether I would have later on been a politician. I tried my hand in it.
You tried? Uncle, you never give up on things now. I know you.
Well, we'll talk about that.
Never say never.
On 3 consecutive occasions.
Yes.
But it didn't count me qualified enough.
You won't be the first. We had somebody who's done it. And at the end of the day, you got there.
You had to go and bring somebody from another party to come and get a ticket. 3 months to election. You know, but some of us are coming from different climes.
I know.
And we have other things that have been engaging our lives and can continue to engage our lives. I was coming to serve, you know, to use my connections of over many years to see how, you know, I can be of benefit, particularly to my people in Ogun State. And I'm a typical
Egba man to the core.
You know, to be more precise, a woman.
Yes.
You know, so my family is steeped in Owu, you know, tradition. So I was not what they will call, you know, Johnny just come in Abeokuta. So that helped me. I was enjoying it.
Yes.
You know, because it was something that I would like to do. It, you know, comes from the heart.
Yes.
You know, but I met different people that normally I wouldn't have met if not for you know,
what you were doing.
Yes. But as I said, that is a story for maybe later on. The third option, you know, was to be a journalist. You know, and that was how this journey began. When I was doing that interview, I told them, yes, you know, sports desk, but I wouldn't know what their decision, you know, would be. But surprise, surprise, I got a letter of employment, you know, but not as a reporter, but as a cub reporter. That is the...
So what's the difference between a reporter and a cub reporter?
A reporter is senior to a cub reporter. A reporter is an apprentice. You know, for the want of another word. You know, you are just an apprentice. You know, and they attach you to a senior reporter. There are different levels in our profession. And you have to go through these levels.
The ranks and files.
The ranks, you know, until you become an editor later on. You know. So I was a cub reporter, and I was attached to a senior reporter. The late Kayode Soyinka. So he was covering the high courts in the Yagoku area of Ibadan. So I will be following him every morning to the courts. So he assigned me to cover the customary courts. some of these customary courts were not in the precinct of the high courts in Iagoku.
Okay.
They are scattered around the ancient city, of Ibadan.
Okay.
It was quite interesting listening to cases at the customary courts. Because that's where you get all these petty issues of husband and wife fighting.
So it's been happening forever.
It's been happening forever.
Okay.
And the chairman of the customary court was there listening patiently and, of course, had to deliver a judgment equitably that would be of benefit to all sides.
Okay.
Showing that he's been fair. That's what I was reporting.
Okay.
Okay. In the magistrate court, I was reporting this issue of what they call profiteering in those days.
Okay.
It was during the Obasanjo regime.
Okay.
They used to have a kind of pricing system.
Okay.
For each item. And you cannot sell more than the official price.
Okay.
So some people are selling beyond the official prices for commodities. So they will be arrested and then taken to the court.
Okay.
These cases of profiteering were going on in the magistrate court. That was what I was covering every day. My senior reporter was at the high court.
Okay.
So he was covering more serious cases.
Okay.
And all these lawyers who became big names in Nigeria, also were starting modestly and doing their work modestly.
Okay.
I can mention several names.
Yes, I can imagine. Yes.
And his own stories will appear the following morning because he's a senior reporter. He was covering the high court. He was getting the big stories.
Okay.
My own stories will not come out the following morning. If they come out at all, they will come out maybe a few days after, and they will not even carry my byline.
Wow.
And for journalists, not only will you like your stories to be published,
yes,
you want your byline there. So if your story is published without a byline, there is something missing. You will not be happy as a professional.
Yes.
That was going on for a while. This was going on for actually a long time. Was
that because you were young and they were taking advantage of you?
Well, I won't say they were taking advantage.
Okay.
Of me. By the time I moved in.
Oh, that was just the system.
That was the system.
Because you just have to.
That was the system. But I reacted to be able to know how the system worked.
Okay. Okay.
So one day, this profession can be very frustrating. You see,
the journalism profession.
The journalism profession.
Wow.
Especially when you started like me as a young person.
Okay.
Trying to determine your future.
Okay.
So one day.
It's important for the starters out there to understand that they have to have that willpower.
They have
that
to have
staying power.
It is not for the faint-hearted.
It is not for the faint-hearted.
Yes.
Wow.
So what I did one day, maybe out of frustration, I didn't want that frustration to set in.
Okay.
Because I had made up my mind that this is what I want to do. So I went in from the newsroom into the sub-editor's room. And I approached the chief sub-editor, Mr. Kolawole, and complained nicely to him, sir, I have an issue here. My stories are not used. And when they are used, they are used a few days after I had submitted the stories. And they won't even carry my byline.
Yes.
All the other sub-editors were listening to this conversation. Mr. Kolawole, a nice man, got up from his seat, and folded his arms, around my shoulders. And, of course, there's an experienced man, so he knew where I was coming from. And I said, he said, no, don't worry, You are doing well. We are seeing your work. You are doing well. As he was talking to me, he was leading me back to the newsroom. you know, and he was saying to me that the day you do the good story, you will not come to the sub-editor's room to ask us to use your story and use your byline. You know, you just go back, you know, to the newsroom, continue what you are doing. Very soon you would get there, you know, and left me and went back to his seat. What I was thinking of in my head was that good story.
Yes.
What is this good story? You know, I was thinking about that. And I got a good story one day.
Wow. Wow.
It was a day that I had no assignments.
Okay.
So I had a long laying in bed that morning. And in my area, in N.O.W, where we lived, something happened in the neighborhood.
Okay.
And there was big noise outside. People were rushing. I came out. I was in jeans. I was young, so I can run. If people run, I can follow them. You know, I saw
the strength of youth.
Yes. So I followed them. Where they stopped, I stopped. Okay. And it was a disaster.
Wow.
There was a naming ceremony going on.
Okay.
And the mother and the baby, the husband and family were seated below a balcony. Okay. Where the ceremony was going on. There are some other people on the balcony.
Yes.
Also participating, but watching the ceremony. All of a sudden, the balcony fell.
Wow.
You know, it gave up.
Wow.
And fell on those people that were under it.
Oh my God.
Including the baby.
Oh my God.
You know. By the time I got there with other people, they had taken them to the UCH in Ibadan. Yes. I asked, he said they were, you know, at the UCH. They went to the UCH. So it's one of those places where we had reporters also covering. So I went to the UCH and went to the public relations officer, you know, of the hospital, who would know of new cases that day, that morning. And they confirmed that, yes, it happened. And that I asked about the baby. Said the baby unfortunately died.
Oh my word. What a pity.
Well, it's a bad incident. It's a tragic, you know, incident. But ironically,
that was your big story.
If it doesn't,
wow.
You know, if it bleeds, it leads.
I know, if it bleeds, it leads. Wow. You know, wow.
That is it in journalism, unfortunately. You know. I went to the newsroom straight away, and I told the news editor, and another very nice fellow, Biono Famojoro, what happened. And they attached a cameraman to me for that assignment. So we went back to get more details. I went back to the UCH to get more details. I filed my story, and then when the editors went for their everyday afternoon editorial meetings to decide the stories for the next day's edition, I was in the newsroom. When the news editor returned, you know, from the editorial, you know, meeting, he came back into the newsroom, looked towards my direction, and I saw this broad smile, you know, on his face. And they said to me, Kayode, congratulations. You know, I was wondering what he was congratulating me for. That your story is the lead story, you know, for tomorrow morning.
Yes.
You know, wow.
Wow. You know, so that big break.
Big break.
Now came.
That's my big break.
Wow.
You know, and if you are in my position, a young man, you know, 18 plus, you know, your story is leading a national newspaper.
Wow, wow, what a feat, what an achievement.
I was looking forward to it. I couldn't sleep. I wanted to see the Dele sketch in the morning, you know. And when I saw it, you know, I felt
that fulfillment.
Absolutely.
Wow.
This is good. This is what I've been working hard to get.
Yes.
I, you know, made up my mind that from this day on, my stories will not be going into the inside pages of the newspaper.
You had to remain front headline, as it were.
You know, on the worst day,
Yes.
Maybe page 3 lead.
Wow.
Page 3
wow.
was the third most important in the newspaper.
Wow.
And I did that consistently.
Wow. Wow.
In some days, my story will be the front page lead, back page lead.
Wow. 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 You know what that says to me is, when you're focused, that, and there's just so many lessons to pick up from just that story that you've given to us, of how you started. There's obedience, there's relationship, there's focus, there's tenacity, there's, that's excellence. You want to do well. You want to be known. You knew what you wanted. So you had the plan and the purpose for yourself. And at the end of the day, you achieved it. And because you had achieved it, you didn't say, oh, now I can go back to sleep. You now wanted to remain there.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Wow.
And you have to be lucky as well.
Yes.
To have good people as mentors.
Yes, which is why I said relationship.
Yes.
Yes.
I had good senior colleagues.
Wow.
Who one way or the other just like me. And they were doing everything possible to put me in the right direction.
Wow.
Wow. I was given greater responsibilities. I was no longer covering the magistrate court. I was covering the high court. And when the Court of Appeal, the Federal Court of Appeal was introduced for the Western zone region in Ibadan, and it was opened. There was a sensational case going
automatically. It's Kayode Soyinka.
An editor was covering it. One day he couldn't make it, and then they said I should. They just threw me, into it.
Wow.
So I was just a reporter amongst the editors covering that sensational case. I was now covering the University of Ibadan, which had an international conference center.
Yes.
Some of the big international conference center conferences and national conferences were taking place there. There was a particular one I remember up till now, which the federal government did there. The outcome of that was the establishment of the Ministry of Labor and Productivity.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So. And then it was the period of Ali Must Go riots.
Ali Must Go. I was so young, but I remember that day so well.
I was also thrown into that because I was young. So if you throw me amongst the students, you will you could blend.
Yes.
So, and the University of Ibadan at that time was guarded by the soldiers and the police. You couldn't enter the campus through the main gate.
Wow.
I used to go to where the border of UI and IITA, and I would go through, underneath the what do you call it, the fence.
Okay.
Into the university and walk straight into the campus.
Wow. Wow.
So I was getting my stories right there.
Talk about doing all it takes to get your stories.
Absolutely. So that was helping me to get the good headline stories. And then all of a sudden they moved me to Benin.
Okay.
Because the correspondent in Benin was going on his annual leave. So that was the first time I would leave Ibadan, to go to the outstation as an acting state correspondent. It was while I was there that I received the letter from the headquarters sending me to London, giving me a scholarship to the Fleet Street College of Journalism.
Wow. Wow.
For a diploma course, properly trained.
Okay.
That was how I went to London.
Wow.
In 1978.
Wow. So moving, because I saw that, talking about your story, you're not afraid to jump into deep waters.
No.
So, I mean, it could only have brought bigger things for you.
It did.
So from Ibadan
straight to London. Yes. And I was right in the middle of the world of journalism. Because if you talk about newspaper, Fleet Street, is it.
Yes.
So you are surrounded every day.
Yes.
You smell.
There's no better training ground than that.
If you are in Fleet Street and you don't turn out to be a good reporter, that is not your calling.
Yes.
And then the Sketch sent me a letter making me a London correspondent.
Yes.
We had one there before, who was returning home.
Okay.
So I took over, from him.
Okay.
That was the beginning, of my long
sojourn
17-year career as a foreign correspondent.
Yes.
From there to Concord.
Yes.
Concord was unique. Chief Abiola, you know, he was a big player, nationally and internationally.
Yes.
And money was not his problem.
Yes.
He started Concord newspapers, and he wanted Concord's London bureau right on Fleet Street.
Okay.
You know, he wanted to play big.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
And
you got it there. Uncle, you know, I don't want us to divulge all the things because this book is a rich wealth of knowledge. I want them to get this book so that they can read and get the nitty-gritty of how you got all these things done.
Yes.
Because I couldn't drop the book when I was reading. I was like, wow, wow, because it just showed so many things and you also learned from it.
Yeah.
So from being in Concord, your relationship with Dele Giwa?
It was in Concord.
It was in Concord.
That we met.
Yes.
Before I left Nigeria, before I left Sketch,
yes,
I had been following him, I had been reading him. He was writing from New York.
Okay.
To the Daily Times. You know, I liked his style of writing. So it was in my consciousness.
Okay.
So I had an issue with the Daily Sketch in Ibadan eventually. And then I had to resign.
Yes.
Before taking up the Concord, job, in Lagos.
Yes.
And I took that, job also because I looked at those people who started Concord, and I saw that they are the creme de la creme in the industry. Dele Giwa was there.
You know, now we're coming to another chapter of your life.
Yes.
And I really want us to keep this, you know. Well, I want to keep the viewers waiting until our concluding episode next week. So, viewers, we'll be back with the concluding episode with Mr. Kayode Soyinka, the Enigma. Beyond Shatters continues next week.
Don't forget to like this video. And if you haven't, subscribe to the Now Show channel today and hit the notification bell so that you do not miss any video that is uploaded. Thank you for watching.